Welcome to the Diaries podcast. This is where we talk about managing your time in ways that helps you accomplish your running goals. Lace up to get your race up. Let's get moving.
Hey, what's up everybody out there running on native land, and welcome to the Diaries podcast. I am your host, Luis, aka Chico, and this is episode number 4. Thank you for spending some of your precious time listening to the show. I appreciate it. I'm definitely not going to waste it. Lace up to get your race up, and let's get moving. We're at the starting line with this episode's guest, and she is a global ambassador for Hoka One hashtag time to fly. She is at the forefront of a worldwide movement that is bringing Indigenous women together through running and at the same time raising awareness against their misrepresentation and mistreatment, hashtag Native Women Running. Some of y'all know her as the Hojo Runner 4, but she's a trail sister to us all. I'm going to cry because I feel like I reached the summit of the mountain by having the honor to welcome to the Diaries podcast, Verna Volker. Welcome to the show, my dear friend.
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much for asking me to come on. It's such an honor to be here.
Definitely. So we're officially in podcast mode. Give us your introduction.
Yeah, today my name is Verna Volker, and I am a mother of 4, a wife. I live here in Minneapolis, Minnesota, on the land of the Dakota people. I am born of, I'll say my clan in Navajo, She'e Verna Yenashia, Twidijini Nashle Hashklishi Bashichin, Tanazani Dashish Cheto Heglini Dashanella. I am Verna. I'm born of the Bitter Water Mud people, also of the Water Flows Together and the Tangle people. And so I'm from the Navajo Nation and happy to be here.
That is amazing. I love that introduction already. So can you tell us something awesome about the state that you call home?
Minnesota, I guess. So is that what you're referring to, Minnesota?
Wherever Verna calls home, you let us know something awesome about that state.
Well, Minnesota, right now, that's where I currently live.
Okay.
I think one great thing about being here in Minnesota is all the access to good trails and sidewalks, and people being active all year has been really something that I really like, especially in the middle of sub-zero temperatures. It's most likely you will see people walking or running in our state of Minnesota.
Awesome. So let's go back to childhood, Verna. Where were you born and raised?
I was born in New Mexico, in the Four Corners area, like northern New Mexico. And so that is where I call home. And it's been a long time. It's been a while since I left home. But, as many people, we will always call that place home.
Definitely. I definitely feel that because I'm the same way with Montana.
Right.
Do you have any siblings?
Yes, I am the youngest of 10.
Wow.
Yes, I have 6 brothers and I have 3 sisters. Sadly, unfortunately, 3 have passed. So I'm the youngest. And my oldest brother and I are the ones that live far away. He lives in Milwaukee and I live here, and we're 20 years apart. So,
oh, wow.
Yeah. And it's interesting because they still think that they can tell me what to do, even though So anyway, it's been kind of funny and interesting. Excuse me.
So being the youngest of 10, have you always been into athletics, and was there always a lot of competition?
I wasn't really. Basketball was the one sport that it seems to everyone played around our area. When growing up, that was everywhere. Like everyone played, all my siblings played. And I don't remember being competitive. I was the youngest. And so I didn't have anyone under me competing with me. So I was just kind of, I didn't really get into sports until like probably more junior high. So,
okay.
But among my siblings, there was between them, but not me.
Did you go to a native school?
Yes, I went to different schools just because of our family circumstance. I mean, I went to a little bit of boarding school, went to town for public school. Yeah. And so I was kind of everywhere.
And so the reason I asked that question is because you talked about basketball, and us natives, man, we love basketball.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I started playing when I was 5. And the school that I went to, there was a great school. We'd play different schools in the area. And I excelled at it. I mean, in junior high, I led my team to championship. And
oh, nice.
Yeah. So just a lot of just the kind of stuff like that. And I was one of those that used to drive. I used to drive through the hoop and shoot those 3-pointers back in the day. So
What position did you play?
I played guard. Yeah.
Oh, crossing them up.
So yeah, I mean, I was, all star and all that kind of stuff. So it was a fun times. It's interesting to even like play now because you still remember all those skills that you once had, and especially since I've coached in the past couple of years, I've coached girls basketball, and I remember just being in the other side of that is such a different time because you're a coach, and just teaching these girls these skills has been fun to watch. So I haven't done it for a couple of years, but it was something that I really enjoyed.
So you coached over there in Minnesota?
Yeah. So
okay.
So I had a really good girls team. We were right in the inner city school, and so I had a lot of talented players, and I probably coached for like 3 years. And so it was fun. It was a really good experience for me too, how to treat and just not treating, but how to coach girls, because girls are hard sometimes, as you know. And,
two of them.
Yes, I mean, and just their emotions and all that kind of stuff, and just being patient with them. So yeah, those were fun years.
Yeah, I totally understand. Is coaching, was that your main occupation?
No, I went to school to be a teacher, so I taught for several years in Arizona, St. Louis area. And then once my husband and I decided to have kids, I was home for probably 14 years as just a stay-at-home mother.
Okay.
With 4 kids and just being that, and just recently going back to teaching. So yeah, it's been just a long journey.
So St. Louis, that place kind of is holds some great memories for me. That is where I got engaged to my wife. We went up to the top of the arch.
Oh wow, yeah.
And so I had one of the park rangers. I let him know what I was going to do and everything. And my wife was there visiting me while I was in a captain's career course for the United States Army. And so we got to the top, and I knew what was going on. I was nervous the whole time. And so I let the park ranger know. I gave her my phone. She started recording. And as soon as I got down on my knees and started talking, I literally just started crying. I don't even know what I said. but yeah, so St. Louis has some great memories for me.
Oh, that is so great.
Let's talk about your work schedule and your training schedule. So you are a athlete, a coach, a teacher, and you have a foundation as well, which we're going to get to. But let's talk about your work schedule. Let's talk about one day in the life of Verna.
Yeah, so I was teaching last year, of course, and I taught second grade, like math, reading, and writing, and I did only part-time just due to just keeping 3 teachers in the cohorts with first and second. So that was like 3 teachers just staying in that one position. So I did that part of my day. So basically I wake up at 4:00 and drink my coffee before life gets busy and everyone starts waking up. And I try to make sure that I run. So, and that's the whole of itself, trying to get ready to run, especially, I try to get out the door by 5 and make sure that I have like my headlamp, all that stuff during like winter time. I run and I just do it real quick and get back and start getting the kids ready. Granted they're older now, so it makes it easier. I'm just saying, you guys got to get ready. Yeah. Then, so my husband would take the other 2 and I'd have the younger 2, we'd drive to school. And it was from there, I'd work till like, maybe noon and come home. And if I didn't get a run in that morning, that was when I would run, because then I would have to pick up someone at 2:30, the other 2. It's just a crazy schedule like that.
Yes.
So during that time too, I had like 2 hours, whether I would have a Zoom meeting, a Zoom call, anything with Native Women Running, maybe a podcast or an interview, was that little time slot that I had, like maybe hour and a half, 2 hours to do that.
Yeah.
And then once that was done, I'm that mom with the minivan. So I would take off in the minivan and like drive across town to pick up other kids. And then on our way, pick up the other 2 and then come home. And if I didn't get in run in that afternoon, that's when I would do it again. So I would kind of choose which time, get dinner ready, get all that stuff. get the kids where they need to. And it was like, 7:38 and everyone's settling down. And and usually it's like 9 o'clock. It's like bedtime or just prepping for the next day, like everybody's lunches and make sure everyone got their lunches ready. Yeah. So that was kind of how my day was. And so being here on summer break, it's just kind of nice to just not have to rush anywhere. That's been really fun.
And that's just one day.
That is just one day. Now in the summertime, it's just a little bit easier, but now I've been running really just kind of same early morning. I like to get things done early in the morning before life starts, and just, I don't have to worry about it at the end of the day. So even like now I actually do wake up at 4:30, try to get out the door by 5, run. And then on Saturday mornings is the same thing. I try to leave. I have to drive through the trails to train. So like this Saturday, I left at 3:15 because I met a friend at 4 a.m. So I actually woke up at 2:30 in the morning. I was making coffee at 2:30 in the morning. It's like, who does this kind of stuff? So anyway.
What is your go-to coffee?
Well, I'm a big coffee drinker. A lot of my followers know I love Starbucks. That is kind of, and I'm not a big sweet coffee drinker. I just like do the pour over at home, and just, I like the taste of coffee. And that's kind of what I usually get. I don't ever, once in a while, get like a special kind of coffee, but I'm just kind of a light roast, a little bit of half and half, a little bit of sugar, and I'm good to go.
That's awesome. Like, I love coffee as well. And my wife's been telling me this for years, like I need to put honey in it. And it got to the point to where I'm just like, okay, I'll try it. And man, I can't have coffee without honey now. So
really?
That's my thing now.
I'll have to try that.
Dark roast and honey.
I'll try that.
So let's move into Verna the athlete. And before we begin this, let us know what your Instagram handle is so we can follow you.
Yes, my personal one is Hojo Runner, which is HOZHORUNNER number 4 at Instagram. And so that's my personal Instagram. And then Native Woman Running is the other account that I usually also focus on too. Okay.
So my first question is going to be, I want to respectfully ask about the word Hojo. In all seriousness, I don't know what it is outside of watching a few YouTube search videos, and the one that I got some information from was mainly the Hoka One One short film with Brandon Dugai titled Time to Hojo. Can you kind of fill me and the listeners in on that word?
Yeah, Hojo is a word that Navajos use. It's basically everything walking in harmony, walking in beauty, kind of like a balance with everything. It's like a beauty around you, and you want to stay balanced in that world. So Hojo, that is what I always grew up hearing, and so that's my goal, is always to like use those good the goodness of those words of peace and beauty and harmony, kind of to surround my life as a person, but also as a runner. And so it's that like that video that showed, Brandon, it kind of it shares that and the connection with the earth and our land, our people is just really what's important. I think too, me being so far from my homeland, that I can always keep that here, being in Minnesota.
Yeah, and it's the film, I want to say, is literally probably about 3 minutes, and I've watched it maybe about 10 times.
I know.
Just for it being so short, it is awesome. And any listener out there, y'all go to YouTube and check that out because it's amazing.
Oh, I love it too. I could watch it every time, and I just get the chills. I just get so moved by it all the time. Yeah.
As an athlete, why do you run?
Why do I run? Well, I run mainly, like many athletes, we want to accomplish a goal, but also for me, it's been more of I never realized how much healing has been part of my life. I never with running, it's more of a healing for me. It's been a time for me to grieve. I've shared in many other podcasts how I've lost, my father at a young age. I've lost siblings. So it's been a time just for me to be by myself, to heal, also just to that mental, starting all over again. My life is pretty crazy and busy, but it's just kind of my me time,
Yeah.
spending hours on the trail, listening to what I need to or whatever. And I think it's just makes me a better person being able to do that, running all
Yeah.
around, healing and mental, all that stuff.
Yeah. The healing part is a big reason that I run as well.
Right.
I've went through something not too
Mm,
long ago, maybe about 5 years ago, and it has boosted my reason for running.
right.
And I was talking with my mom just yesterday about this. Like, most likely, probably about twice a month when I'm running, like I just cry, and
Right.
it's not because I'm sad. It's
Hmm.
just I feel like in unison with my body and all these different things that I can think of and be free of at that exact moment. It's just it's liberating and everything.
Right.
So
Oh,
yeah.
yes. I totally understand. Yes.
So where or in whom do you find motivation or inspiration to continue running?
My inspiration comes from a lot of things. I am the type of person that doesn't really keep up with these really good athletes. I do in certain ways, but really the people that motivate me are people who are behind the pack. I love the stories that I read with like Native women running or people who I follow, them who have really struggled. Like I'm the person who wants to cheer for the people in the back because I've seen myself so many times in that way that even when I see a marathon going on or any type of race, I am cheering for the people behind the pack are the one that inspire me. And I think that's where I gain inspiration from a lot, just in real life and in social media and watching people. I think sometimes they're overlooked by these great athletes who run. And so I don't know. I just like that. I like cheering for that slow person or that one who just started or I don't know. That's what really inspires me.
When I understand what you're saying. There's times when I've met so many people on runs, and now we are Facebook friends or Instagram friends. But there's like times when you're on the trail running in a race or whatnot, and you just start a conversation with
Right.
one of the other people running, and that's what I love about this community, and that's what I love about the Native Women running platform is
Right.
because I feel like I'm getting that conversation, that the information piece from your
Right.
platform and everything.
Oh, that's good to hear.
Do you cross train?
I do several different things. I will either do strength training, all that kind of stuff on my off days, or if I need to
Okay.
ride my bike around. But mainly, I've been focusing on just strength training core. My coach has me doing that, and then my other days, I'm usually running just for training. And on a normal day of not training, I just run whenever. So it just varies. So, but training is nice because it gives me something to do and look forward to and stick with. Because then I get lazy. So,
Well, you just mentioned you have a coach. Go ahead and give your coach a shout out.
his name is Daniel. He is actually from Germany, and
Okay.
his handle is athlete without meat because he's a vegetarian. And
Okay.
he's like we met on Instagram. I would say it's been 4 years ago, and we were just followers of each other. And I think one time I messaged him about a question because I knew he was a big ultra runner.
Yeah.
And then he would just help me. He said, why don't you try this? I think I had my first ultra that I finished and I didn't really feel good about it. And
Okay.
so I think I asked him a question. And then from there on, he's just taken me under his wing for these last 4 years and has got me through these ultras that I've done out of just the kindness of his heart that, he will. I remember one race that I did. He, he's in Germany, so there's several hours ahead of us. And I
Yeah.
was struggling, and on Facebook Messenger is when he would message me and say, "How are you doing? Are you doing okay?" And it's probably like in the middle of the night for him over there. But
Yeah.
just for him to like say, "You got it." That one thing that he always says is iron mind. You have an iron mind. You can do this. And so he has really helped me just become a better runner. And sometimes he's strict and very hardcore. Sometimes he's really like, okay, like especially the treadmill workouts that he gives me are so intense. I hate it, but I know they're good. And I think we see as he checks my Garmin, I'll upload my Garmin and he'll see it from afar. And so then he'll like send me a message. And so I've been really happy with just how he's taken me under, and he's made me a runner, a better runner that I never thought I would ever be. So
that's awesome. And his Instagram handle is athlete without meat.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. I'm going to get on there and I'm going to start following him as well.
Yes, you should.
What exercises do you benefit from?
Oh, exercises. I think just a lot of, like right now, I do a lot of lower body, especially we're trying to make my legs strong, and anything that's like squats or, those kind of things I feel like have been beneficial for me as a runner. That's just kind of what has been our goal, is just to get my legs strong, my knees strong, so that can be stable. And
you mentioned your quote unquote, your first ultra. How many ultras have you ran, or races in general, do you think?
And ultras, I think I've ran, let's see, not that much. It's like 6 or 7. Okay. So they've been like 50K, 50K.
That's a sizable number.
Yeah. And then there's like, I did like an 8-hour one and like an 8-hour like run.
Yeah.
So that was really good. And then my highest was the 50, which I did in October of 2019.
Oh, nice. Which race was that?
It was called Surf the Murph. It was here in just south of the Twin Cities. So that was a good race to just do here locally, especially for my first like 50 miler. Yeah. And so now I'm training for Javelina 100, which is the 100K. So it's like 62 miles. So that's what I'm training for right now.
That is awesome. You totally have my support on that one there.
Yay.
What is your favorite competition distance to run and why?
Well, okay. I'm not really sure yet. I'm still trying to look for that. Okay. I like the shorter distance. I would say right now, if I was to choose, it'd probably be something like a 10 miler. But I do like going a long way. Yeah, I would probably say the 10 miler, but I don't really do that much 10 milers. I do a lot of longer ones, but yeah. So maybe, right now, I have some kind of arthritis in my right knee, and I know eventually I will have to start doing races that are like less than 10 miles. So we're hanging on to that 20 miler, 20 miles and up. So.
Yeah. How long is a rest and recovery period for you?
During a race or just through training?
A race. Yeah.
I would say for me, a good week.
Okay.
A good week of just no running. Of course, after a while it gets, you want to run, but it's a good solid week of just taking it easy. So far that's been really works for me.
Nutrition products. Do you use any?
Well, it depends. Right now I'm trying Tailwind just because everyone, it seems like, is using Tailwind. So I was like, let me try it. But I was actually using your product that you're an ambassador for. Is it Heed?
Hammer Nutrition Heed.
Yes. My last ultra, my 50, I use that. So, so I was using that a lot. Right now, I'm not sure what I'm doing. It all just depends. What I really look at is what the race has available. Yeah. So my coach always said, see what they are giving out at the race so that you'd have less stuff to carry. Yeah. So that was kind of one of our goals. So, and I love the Honey Stinger waffles.
Oh, yes.
Those are my favorite. So I usually take those packs with me when I go run, along with the Tailwind. I just started it this past Saturday. So we'll see. Okay. It's always hard to know what's good. And I'm kind of a cheap person. So I don't like to buy, when I look at prices, I'm like, okay. So we'll see what happens.
I totally understand. And if you ever need I'm not a salesman or anything by any means, but if you ever need a discount on some Hammer stuff, just shoot me a DM and we'll get you some of that.
Sounds good. Thanks.
All right, here we go. What is your favorite shoe to run in and why?
Okay, so of course I'll say Hoka, but I always clarify this with people that I love Hokas before I even was an ambassador. So I was sold on them I think it was 2000, 15, I started having like knee issues, and so I started running in Hoka, and I was sold by then, and I never have ever turned back, because I used to do Brooks or whatever was on sale, that's what I would buy. And so now Hoka, I love them now. I love their trail shoes. Right now I'm using their Challenger 4 Hoka.
Okay.
So that's one of the trail shoes. And I love their road shoes, which I have the Mach 4, and I just recently got the Rincon 3 to preview. So that was
you got them already. That is amazing.
So and there's another shoe too that I'm previewing, but I don't think I can share it. But that was just kind of fun to run in them and see how they were. And so it's fun.
So my wife doesn't know this yet, but she graduates in 3 weeks from college. Okay. And so the Hokas come out with the new colors and everything. I can't remember which one it was. The one that you're previewing.
The Rincon.
Yeah, there you go. And so I purchased them already. So she'll be having those as a graduation gift. And she doesn't know yet. But if I'm spoiling it by her going to listen to this podcast, surprise!
surprise, honey. Yeah. It's so far, I like it. Yeah, it's a good shoe.
So you can see over here lined up all these shoes. Those are all Hokas as well. So and if anybody knows me, it's got to be a red shoe for me.
Right.
It's just kind of my trademark now.
Red shoes. Oh, that's cool.
So you're a global ambassador for Hoka One One. How did this venture come about?
Good question. That's a really good question. I always like Hoka, and they reached out to me, I think September of 2020, 2020. And I knew someone who was they wanted to give me some free shoes, and I was going to do a blog post for them. And so I did that. And one of my friends, Jalen Ga, who is the founder of Native Women's Wilderness, came down and did the photo shoot for Hoka. I thought nothing of it. I mean, everyone wants to be an ambassador for a company. Yeah. So I just figured they were doing this photo shoot and this blog about me. And so I was like, okay. And then December is when I had a meeting with them, and they said, hey, we just want to connect with you. We want to get to know what you're doing. We see you doing a lot for Native women running. We want to see how we can help you. So, I get that a lot. And so I had this meeting with them. And this was in December, like mid-December, and she said to me, we want you to be a Hoka Global Ambassador.
Oh, wow.
And I was crying. I like, even when I talk about it, I was crying, because I think oftentimes I never saw myself as a runner. Yeah. And for Hoka to ask me that was just, I was blown away. And of course, I'm like, yes, and I couldn't say anything until they announced it like mid-February. Yeah. So I was just so excited. And of course I told the few people, like my family members, but other than that, I just had to keep it a secret. And then they made the announcement, and everyone was just so supportive. And I think one of the comments that I kept getting time and time again, or messages, was, I finally see someone that looks like me. Or just to see someone like you, Verna, as a mom, as a Native woman, like you they say you represent us, just really moves me a lot, because like, that's what I do. That's what I really stand for and push for. And it's been a wonderful journey. Yeah. And they're still taking me on. So I was like so happy when they said, we want to still take you on in July. And I have a lot of things that I have to do in regards to that. So a lot of IG stuff or articles or anything that I need to write. So, but it's fun. It's fun work. And hey, I get to preview shoes. I'm on it. So.
Yeah, definitely. Well, you kind of hit on this already. My next question was going to be, what are your responsibilities as a global ambassador?
Well, there's a whole list of things. You always have to represent a Hoka in a positive way. I mean, some of the stuff is you'll probably laugh about this, and some people will probably think this is funny, but I make TikToks, okay? And TikTok, a lot of times people think TikTok is like dancing and all that stuff. I've learned that TikTok is not like that. I mean, I make several different TikToks in regards to running. So one of the things Hoka's asking me to do is to do some TikToks.
All
So
right.
it's like, that's easy enough. And any kind of hashtag we use, we have to use Hoka. If, for instance, I just did a shoe preview for 2 shoes. And then I was also in a webinar with all the there was like media press there. And so being another Hoka athlete, we're able to share about our experience with the media press, things like that I'm doing. I have some IG lives that's gonna be coming up in the fall, projects with another running company.
Nice.
And I have just other people, anytime that people want to ask me or for like an article, they'll reach out to Hoka, and then Hoka will ask me if I'm interested in certain things. And so that's what I do. So it's become like a job. And so it's become like a really good, fun job. And just if they need me to make an IG, like I had to make a video here like last Monday. So just stuff like that. And so I get my boys who are teenagers to film me. So that all works. So there's all these other sorts of things too. So I always have to wear Hokas in every, don't you be blending Nike with Hoka. You wear that Hoka. So I'm happy to.
Like you said, it sounds like it's turning into a job, but that is definitely a fun job.
It is. I know, truly, time and time again, I am so humbled and thankful for this opportunity. Sometimes I think I don't deserve this. Like, I don't deserve to be here. But many people, time and time again, will say, yes, you do. And I'm learning to own that in a positive way, not as a way to like show off, but a way to feel like, yes, I belong here, and my voice is important, and the women that I'm representing, their voices are important too. So I'm just very humbled by it.
I definitely think you deserve it, and I definitely think you're doing a great job. So keep that up. And with that being said, we're going to let Verna, the athlete, take a rest, and now we're going to talk with Verna of Native Women Running. So you founded Native Women Running in, I believe, January of 2018?
Yes, correct.
Give us the backstory of Native Women Running, what it is, and how the venture started.
Yes, so those several months around like 2016, 2017, I noticed there was a running, like people would post their runs on Twitter. I was on Twitter and people would post, hey, I ran 7 miles. And then I kind of stopped doing Twitter, and then I went to Instagram and started doing things on Instagram. And I noticed people were posting their runs. And I started doing my research on podcasts, running magazines, running apparel. And I felt like I never saw someone that looked like me.
Yeah.
Granted, there's Native runners that people have highlighted, but it was very far and few. But in my position, I never saw someone that looked like me. I remember specifically seeing a woman who was white, blonde, like that was like what you saw all the time. And I remember one day seeing a girl who was holding a baby. She had a Boston Marathon shirt on. She accomplished, it just all these like fit, blonde, everything. And I was like, wow, to have, and me being a mom, I was like, wow, it must be nice to get back to your pre-pregnancy and like run Boston, and I felt like I never saw that. I was like, where is the realistic part of this? And I think too, it just not seeing myself in running was one of the drive by it. And so I had like several Native women who were following me on my personal account. And I said, hey, because before that I was seeing them run and I was like, why isn't anyone sharing these stories? Yeah. And so then these few women, I said, hey, if I started this account, would you guys follow it? And they're like, yes, we would. And so then I just put it out there, and it has really grown a lot. And you know what? I don't use any type of advertisement because I feel like if people want to find out about us, they will find us. And so it's just developed into this community of positivity, of inspiration, of motivation, and doing representation. And all I do is share stories of Native women who are running, maybe who are starting out, who are running 5K, to women who are, as some of them who just finished a 100-miler or who just ran Boston. Like, I want people to be celebrated, and I wanted these women to be celebrated. And I think that's why it's grown so much, is because oftentimes as Indigenous people and Native people, we have these stereotypes, or it's easy to become like in this spot where the negativity. And so I wanted to bring a positivity to our women in a way that was where they were using their gifts of running. And so so that's how it's happened. And it's
Wow.
over, what is it, we're almost at 25K.
Oh man, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So I know that it's Native women running, and you're highlighting Native women running, but you also highlight men at certain times too. For instance, when I did the Tour de los Tejas 300K, you've kind of highlighted my story on that as well.
Right.
And so I definitely appreciate that.
I have a lot of Native brothers. I mean, I always tell you guys brothers, and I said, you guys are my brothers. And so I have just a great handful of you all who want to support us. And I think I see that, and I see your motives, and I really appreciate that so much. And so I try my best to just kind of keep that balance. And I wish I could highlight everybody every time, but that would take a lot of time. So, yeah.
All right. So for those listeners who do not know what this acronym is, can you explain what MMIW is?
Yes, Missing and Murdered Indigenous Women, which is a crisis that is happening among our women, not only here in the United States, but in Canada. Native women are 10 times more likely to be murdered. There's a high rate of, sexual assault, sex trafficking. And so oftentimes when our women go missing and murdered, there's not the media attention. Yeah. And so 2016 was when that movement started. And it's just been really, I think, dear to a lot of Indigenous people's hearts that we feel compelled to do something.
Right.
And so I think right now, we think about not just women, but, girls, two-spirits, just, even Native men who go missing and murdered, and just what we can do in those times where to bring awareness or help those who need help. And I just feel like that's been a voice for not just me, but for a lot of the followers.
Right. I'm going to throw out a number, and you tell me what this number represents. $86,967.85.
Oh, yes. Yes, that is the money that we this year raised for MMIW USA, which does a lot of amazing work. I know the founder of that organization. We become friends, and she, I love them so much. And I had approached him summer of 2020, and I said, hey, I want to do our virtual run in honor of you all and all these women who have got, and that I wanted to give the money to an important organization that is actually, they are on the ground working with families right now who are going missing and murdered. And I really respect all the work they do. And so she gave me the heads up, and she said, that would be great. And that's how much money we were able to raise by doing this virtual run. And even now she keeps up to date on what the money is going to. And that just gives me goosebumps when she tells me what the money's been used for. That's what it's for. And I trust them.
Yeah. Yeah. So all that, I mean, that is a large sum of money.
Right.
And I saw the post that you did immediately following that, and you thanked all of us, the participants and everything for that. And you took like almost next to no credit for that, but you really did help organize all this. And so I think I speak for everybody when we say thank you for that.
Oh, you're so welcome. Oftentimes when I do this work, I don't want it to become about me. I'm not a person who wants the attention sometimes. So I like behind the scenes stuff, but this work, especially with MMIW, is not for me to gain any kind of popularity. It's really a serious, something that's serious, because I always put myself in that place because I have an 8-year-old daughter.
Yeah.
And then I would just be devastated. And so I'm very careful how I approach this movement, and very careful what I share on Native Women Running, to be sensitive to families who are going through these. Yeah.
So like we mentioned, that money was raised through your virtual running event and everything. I participated in that running event. I think I ran a 10K. And immediately after that, I posted my after run Instagram and posted that up online, and it was deleted. I wasn't given any warning. For whatever reason it was, I wasn't even notified. It was just gone. So to make a statement, I ran 33 miles, and then I reposted that, and then I tagged you in that. Were there other issues revolving that, or was I the only one on that?
No, I think there was a lot of issues. I didn't really notice on the main feed because I was really carefully paying attention when that stuff was going on. But I saw it more in the stories when people were putting in their stories.
Okay.
Some of them would reach out to me and say, "Hey, I posted something like just a few seconds ago. It's not there anymore."
Yeah.
So yeah, that was the only issue that I remember seeing.
Well, as the founder of Native Women Running, give us a behind the scenes, down and dirty info on what it takes for your organization to get prepared for a race or to support an event.
Yes. Well, as many people think that Native Women Running is like this group of people. Native Women Running is just me. And so that is crazy, I know. But
Yes.
you know, when you create something, you never realize how big it's going to be. And
Right.
so really this last run that we had, I was able to have this partnership with Hoka, which was a huge, that was wonderful because I needed help in that area. I had a college girl and a printing company here, and I was the one who would tell she was like an intern. She helped me, and she was the one who helped me put any kind of wording, and we met with Hoka and how to word things. And so yeah, that was crazy because I was replying to email. That was sometimes difficult to read of just, some things were kind of not running how I wanted to. And so kind of customer service stuff where you have to be gentle and just telling people to be patient. So yeah, all of that is like, especially with social media, what the idea for that virtual run was to basically plaster this movement all over social media so people could question, what is going on? Why are people wearing red? So that was the whole idea when it first started, because when I was with my little kids and I'm young, I never had the opportunity to go protest or go to like Standing Rock or things like that because of my life, because I had little kids. And so the idea was that virtual run could be a movement where everybody was part of it. And so what I did was that day, and anytime I try to do my social media early in the morning, any kind of like reposting, if people tag me, I wake up in the morning and I check that, and I try to do that for that whole day, for that one part of my time in that day. Because I can get so many tags or hashtags I can't keep up with. But so that's what really is my job, is that, and our Facebook, because our Facebook account is like over almost 9,000.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And so then we also have a Twitter account too that I'm trying to keep up with too. And so, so that is just a lot of busy time. Right now, I'm actually planning a virtual run for the end of September. So I'm meeting up with people in like these kind of meetings, saying how we could move this forward. And now I feel like I have a better idea of how to approach it. And I'm becoming a good race director. So, and then I have one with Scott that we do from Indigenous Trail. We'll be doing our one in January again for the New Year Challenge. So so those are all those kind of fun stuff coming up.
Yeah, you definitely have your hands full here.
Right.
But I mentioned this to Scott already, but if y'all ever need any help, man, just feel free to ask. Me and my wife are here with open arms and ready to help however we can.
Oh, that sounds awesome. Thank you.
So how can we in the running community support your cause?
Well, one of the things is like a lot of people do is follow our accounts. Also to participate in the events that we have is really important. I think a lot of people always hesitate because I get a lot of non-natives who will ask me, is it okay if I do this? I said, yes. I think there's just like we're leery, like I'm not native, but can I do this run? And I want people and allies to come alongside us and do our events. And so I think those are more important things to do. Share about us, whether it be just spreading the word of Native women running and what we're doing. I often try to share any kind of stories that we have in regards to like magazines or things like that. And I really try to utilize as much women as I can, because I can't do everything, as my husband thinks. I always say, he's like, honey, you can't do everything. So,
Yeah.
so, like NPR reached out to me there in Montana,
Yeah.
and, I can't be in Montana, but I said, hey, there's a Native girl there. And that worked out, where she was able to get interviewed by NPR when we were doing the
Okay.
MMIW virtual run. So I try to utilize
Right.
as much as I can. So just supporting us is key, I think, and following us. And yeah, send us if there's virtual runs or anything you want to share. I always tell people to direct message me, and I'll try to get out there. And just a patience and understanding, because this is something that is taking a lot of time. And yeah, if people are gifted, I've had a lot of people reach out to me who want to help. And I'm actually bringing 2 women on board
Nice.
for the fall to help me just not do so much, just not be, having someone else be gifted in some other ways that they could help me. So I won't be doing everything. So
Yeah,
that's the plan.
Yeah, I totally understand. And you were talking earlier about all your social media accounts. So I'm just me doing what I do, my podcast. But I can only keep up with just Instagram.
Right.
And so like I can't imagine having so many followers and then doing all the social media platforms at once, man. Kudos to you on that.
Right. Right. It's tiring, but I'm learning how to balance that all out. So yeah.
So I am at the end of my question list. Is there anything that you want to hit on before we move on? Is there something we need to go back and kind of elaborate on?
We could talk about the 215, the Indigenous children in Canada. I mean, that was one thing that our women did too.
Okay, yeah, let's do it.
It was when the residential schools.
That is we're wearing orange.
Yeah, we're in the
Okay.
orange. Yeah.
This is I can't say touchy subject for me. That's not the word.
Right.
But so I'm from Montana, and we have a mission residential school right near my grandfather's ranch, and that's where my grandmother and my grandfather went and everything. And it was just kind of something that we grew up knowing that was there, and it was kind of a part of our, I guess, family history.
Mm-hmm.
It's never really hit me until all these things start coming to light. And I grew up in the Catholic Church. I went from baptism all the way to my marriage. Everything was in the Catholic Church. And with everything coming to light now, as Indigenous people, my trust has been shaken, not in our Creator or anything, but in the leadership that is there for Catholicism or whatever religion you want to put there. Can you elaborate on everything that's going on right now? And I'll let you take the mic on this one.
Yes. So a little bit after like the MMIW virtual run, I think it was probably like the end of May was when they started finding Indigenous children, the remains of Indigenous children in Canada. And the first numbers was 215. And so when that happened, as Indigenous people, we know that there is residential schools in Canada, and then we know the history of boarding schools here. And, we say history, but these things really haven't been too long. Like the last residential school in Canada was closed in 1996. Wow. And here in the United States, the one was like closed 1960s, but boarding schools still exist today here in the US, but they're run by Native organization. I mean, my sister is a cook at a boarding school. Yeah. And, she's Navajo. So it's shifted, but, that's, something else. But I think when the findings of these children happened, as Indigenous people, we felt compelled to do something. And I felt compelled. So I reached out to some women who are Native runners out in Canada who follow Native women running. And I just reached out to them. I said, hey, and I was hearing different things. And I'm like, I need to hear it from them. Like they're the source. They live there. Yeah. And so I said, is it true that this is happening? And they're like, yes, 215 children. I said, hey, I have this idea. What do you guys think about us running in honor of these children? And they're like, Verna, that would be amazing if that happened. I said, even though it's I said, we are relatives, even though you guys are in Canada, we are related in that way. And so they were able to, I wanted their input. I wanted them to give me the go ahead. And so we did that. And it was shortly after the virtual run, the MMIW virtual run. And I was like, I thought I was going to be able to just chill out and rest and get that, event done. But it moved into this, and I just felt really compelled. And we've had hundreds of people from all over Canada, United States, actually all over the world, who've been running in honor of these Indigenous children and sharing what's been going on, and allies who are understanding more what's been happening. And so the numbers now, I think, are close to 2,000. And we know that those numbers will keep going. And so I was really thankful for all the people who ran in honor of these children. It was a way to honor them in a light, and to wear orange, because orange is the color they use in Canada for, they have the Orange Shirt Day in September. And that's the color they use because there's a story about a Native girl who got an orange shirt from her grandma.
Yeah.
And she was headed to boarding school, and they took that orange shirt away. And she says in that story, she goes, it seemed like nobody cared. They took my orange shirt away and I never saw it again. And so that's why the orange shirt exists. So,
wow.
So that's, I don't know, Native women running. I'm just really thankful because I give people a call to action, and they do it. And I'm just blown away by that. And I'm so thankful for that.
That's amazing. And, like outside of running, there's other Indigenous peoples that are stepping forward and doing their part in their own way. One of the Instagram accounts that I follow is Lil Kayo, and he did some custom art with a child looking up like through the ground to the sky. And everything.
I saw that. Yes,
it was so beautiful, and I think he did some more with his children in the next art piece.
That was powerful. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of us that are showing our support in different ways and everything.
Exactly.
There's a lot that I don't know about that subject. I did not know that it would be so tough for me to talk to. I talked to my mom about this, just yesterday. Like yesterday was, my mom is visiting from Montana, and so yesterday was our Mother Sunday. And so we talked about everything that we possibly could, and left no stone unturned and everything. So and yesterday, this is one of the topics that we did talk about, and so it kind of brought up a lot of pain within ourselves that we didn't know we had.
Yeah, and I think too, all across, I felt this heaviness too, because I did go to a boarding school too that was faith-based too. And I think as Indigenous people, it just, for me, after a while, it just really weighed on me, where I was just like so sad, and I felt helpless in many ways. So it's what you're feeling was probably pretty common among all of us.
Like, of course, all of us, we're going to continue to do our part. And I think we're all going to pray to hopefully that this comes to an end very, very soon.
Exactly.
Okay, so the next part that we have is going to be the 5 to stay alive. These are the questions that I ask every guest about themselves and what keeps them going. Verna, are you ready to answer the 5 to stay alive?
Yes, I think so. Yes.
Okay, question number 1. Do you run with or without music? And if so, what is one power song that is on your running playlist that motivates you?
Yes, I run with usually when it's safe to do so. So I always clarify that. One of the songs that just gets me going is Alicia Keys' This Girl Is on Fire.
Oh, there you go.
Every time I hear that, I'm like, I run a little bit faster, or I go a little bit longer.
Man, I'll tell you, I have some Alicia Keys on my playlist too. So I'm going to go through this on my list, and I'm going to add one of my songs along with yours.
Awesome.
Listeners out there, everybody in podcast land, you can go to the Run Shoe Diaries Spotify page and download the guest playlist. It is updated after my guests add their song, and it contains the songs that keep them motivated to keep putting in work and keep running. Question number 2, Verna, are you ready?
Yes.
All right. So this is a new replacement question. What are some things in your life that have positively changed since you started running?
Oh, my career. I always thought I was going to be a teacher, but running has really changed that. These opportunities that I have had, it's just been a switch from,
Yeah.
and it's all like a new stuff that I always tell people I was the youngest of 10 and I always been the follower. I always follow, but I'm put in a leadership position. And so that's really has changed for me career-wise.
So just so you know, you're the first one to answer this question. The last question I had on there, I wasn't stimulating conversation enough. So you're the first one to answer that question. Question number 3, in your opinion, what is one thing that an athlete should avoid in their journey to becoming a better runner?
Oh, that's a good question. I guess fast food, like something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, fast food, less like soda, things like that. So yeah, because I used to be a big soda drinker.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's been I've been off soda for a very long time. But yeah, that's something a runner should try to avoid.
All right. Shout out to Scott Flatlip on this one because he had the same exact answer as you. So again, I'm going to stop drinking soda just so I can be like you and Scott.
Oh, gosh. No, Scott's up here.
All right. Number 4, finish this statement. When it comes to long distance running, Verna cannot leave the house without her.
My Hokas?
Okay.
I mean, that's like really straight up answer. I think for me right now, it's been like, sadly, it has to be my safety knife. It's like a safety thing with my alarm.
Okay.
And so that's something that I really take seriously, especially with women's safety, And so that's something that even if I'm running in the city early in the morning, I take that thing with me just in case I need to fight someone off. So that's important. Yeah.
All right. Since you're a Hoka One ambassador, give me your best Hoka.
Hoka, like that.
Hoka!
Hoka!
There you go.
You would do it better.
I love it. All right, question number 5. Do you have a running mantra?
Yes.
Okay.
It's my own kind of thing. I always tell people, if I can run, you can run. And so that's what I tell people. And just never underestimate yourself. And I always clarify that because sometimes we think we can't do something, but I have to remind myself that all the time is you can do this. This is possible. Definitely.
I definitely agree with you on that. I was in the same boat. Like there's just times where I think I can't go anymore. And, for each individual runner out there, we have our own mantras, things that we say to ourselves to keep us going, things that we think about.
Right.
And, putting one foot in front of the other and towing the line, we can all make it.
Exactly.
All right, so those are my 5 questions. Is there anything that you want to go back, touch up, and elaborate on before we close this one out, Verna?
No, it was all good.
Awesome. Verna, I want to thank you for agreeing to be a part of this show. The Native Women Running Foundation is something that I and thousands of others wholeheartedly and proudly support. Your social innovation has women all over the world running and proudly showing it through your platforms. We are truly blessed to have a leader like you within our Indigenous communities and on our side. I want you to know that I am proud of you. Keep it up, my friend.
Oh, thank you.
And we'll see you out on the trails, my trail sister.
You too.
All right, bye.
Bye.
We're approaching the finish line, but before we cross, here's some news and views. That was Verna Volker, founder of Native Women Running and global ambassador for Hoka One. I want to highlight how strong our Indigenous peoples are and how supportive the entire running community is. During our conversation of the Indigenous Residential Schools of Canada, Verna explains how the Native Women Running platform has helped bring awareness to the issue through running while simultaneously honoring the children who've endured those events. At the end of her statement, she graciously gives thanks to the women and the supporters of Native Women Running. Check this out.
I said, hey, I have this idea. What do you guys think about us running in honor of these children? And they're like, Verna, that would be amazing if that happened. I said, even though we are relatives, even though you guys are in Canada, we are related in that way. And so they were able to, I wanted I wanted their input. I wanted them to give me the go ahead. And so we did that. And it was shortly after the virtual run, the MMIW virtual run. And I was like, I thought I was going to be able to just chill out and rest and get that, event done. But it moved into this, and I just felt really compelled. And we've had hundreds of people from all over Canada, United States, actually all over the world, who've been running in honor of these Indigenous children and sharing what's been going on, and allies who are understanding more of what's been happening. And so the numbers now, I think, are close to 2,000. And we know that those numbers will keep going. And so I was really thankful for all the people who ran in honor of these children. It was a way to honor them in a light, and to wear orange, because orange is the color they use in Canada. They have the Orange Shirt Day in September, and that's the color they use because there's a story about a Native girl who got an orange shirt from her grandma.
Yeah.
And she was headed to boarding school, and they took that orange shirt away. And she says in that story, she goes, "It seemed like nobody cared. They took my orange shirt away, and I never saw it again." And so that's why the orange shirt exists. So,
wow.
So that's, I don't know, Native women running. I'm just really thankful because I give people a call to action, and they do it. And I'm just blown away by that. And I'm so thankful for that.
Thank you for everything that you're doing, Verna. You have our continued support. Listeners, if you want to support the Every Child Matters movement, check out Gray Branch Designs on Instagram, where they are definitely crafting with a purpose. Use the link in their bio to the Gray Branch store, where all proceeds are donated to this cause. Next, the Spotify guest playlist has been updated. For those that don't know, every guest that appears on the show adds one of their motivation songs to this list. You can download the list from the Run True Diaries Spotify page. Verna Volker has appropriately added Girl on Fire by Alicia Keys. And since we're highlighting and empowering the women running community in this episode, I'm going to add Bad Reputation by Joan Jett and the Blackhearts. Download and enjoy. Updates on the Run True Diaries store. First off, you can find the store at runtruediaries.myshopify.com, or go to the Run True Diaries Facebook or Instagram account and use the link tree in the bio. We've also added Facebook and Instagram shopping. This allows you to purchase directly from our product posts. Before I continue, we want to thank everyone for their support in this venture. From purchasing the products, recommending guests for the show, and even helping me fine-tune the store. This is a direct product of so many great ideas put into action. So first and foremost, thank you. The items that we have in our store are the logo and notebook stickers, the new Junk Brands headband with the Run True Diaries logo on it. This is our first venture with Junk Brands, and it is selling super fast. They're stylish, functional, and made of super high quality material. The headband is the Big Bang Light model. It's lightweight, made in the United States of sweat wicking material. It's machine washable and unisex. Junk Brands, reinventing inspiration and performance to the world's best headband. T-shirts. We've been getting a lot of compliments on the shirts. We did our best to find the perfect shirt that would be comfortable yet affordable. And we went with the Next Level 60/40 t-shirt. And by the feedback that we've received so far, I think we made the right choice. We've ordered a restock, and so if your size is currently unavailable, give it a few days and you should be good to go. We have a few items that are made to order and shipped directly from our printer. These items are not in our physical inventory, but are available for purchase. Rally towels. These are light blue in color with the Run True Diaries logo. These are small 11 by 18 towels that are used at the gym or for drying off the sweat after your run. These are perfect for taking those post-run selfies with. 20-ounce tumblers. We have 3 versions. 2 black tumblers. One is going to have the full Run True Diaries podcast logo, and the other will have the logo without the wording. The third is a light blue tumbler with the original Kiro Murillo artwork. These are all available for purchase on the Run True Diaries store and are made to order. Shout out to Kiro Murillo and Indian Time Studios in Pocatello, Idaho. She took my idea and made it what it is now, and I am forever grateful for that. Every time she posts her work, I'm in awe, and I'm sure y'all be too. Be sure to check her out and support this native-owned business at kirasdesigns.com or on Instagram at Kiro Murillo. Lastly, we have some items that we did not approve. The samples arrived and they did not meet our standards. we'll be making some changes before we give these products the green light. With that, we've crossed the finish line. So if you have any questions, comments, concerns, or guest recommendations, contact me at runshoe.diaries@gmail.com. Again, that is runshoe.diaries@gmail.com. Be sure to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Keyword search Run Shoe Diaries. Thank you for listening to the Run Shoe Diaries podcast, episode number 4 with Verna Volker. Until next time, remember that with each step comes the decision to take another. So keep putting one foot in front of the other because it's amazing what you can do on your own 2 feet. I'm out.